5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
You're listening to the GHT Overland podcast. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the GHT Overland podcast. This is where you get the greatest interviews and insights from overland travelers around the globe. You will learn the basics to the advanced in overlanding, so buckle up and get ready for part 2 with Michel and Renee of Overlanding the World.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Lisa. This is part 2 with Michel and Renee of Overlanding the World. This week we discuss overlander safety on the road, finance tips for overlanding the world, and more great road stories. They also break some big news.
Oh, that's right. What tips do you have in preparing for a border crossing when you've got a day to cross some borders or a border?
Well, we normally don't do that much of planning. We check the iOverlander app for sure, just to see some reviews about the border, if there are any reviews, and if there's any corruption or something like that. But mainly we just go there. If it's like a normal border, we're not talking about like a China border. That's a completely different story. You cannot just go there and show up. You need like all permits and guides and a lot of pre-arranged stuff. But if it's just the border between, for now, it's the next border, it's Turkey. Yeah, we just go there and we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. And any specific border crossing experiences that stand out to you that we could learn from?
Well, for us, the Pakistan-China border was quite special, I can say. It took 3 days to cross, it's a lot of paperwork. You cannot do it yourself. You need the guide. You need someone who applies for the permits and just do like the whole process. So you just go to your hotel and wait there and see a bit of the city. Yeah. But that was quite an interesting border. And I know a lot of overlanders are struggling with that border because, you need to cross the border. Otherwise, you have to go all the way back to Iran and to Balochistan. But on the other hand, it's quite expensive. It's, I believe, it's 3 days, $1,500 just to cross the border. But
it's the highest border in the world.
It was quite special to be here. But, it was something else, I would say.
And the $1,500, was that with the agent and the fee for the agent, or just the fees for crossing?
Yeah. No, you pay the agent, and he arranged everything for you.
Were there any other borders that you did that you used an agent with?
No. This is the
just
only
the
one. Yeah, this is the only mandatory border where you need a mandatory agent. All the other borders, you're just free to go. And some borders fixers show up and they want to help you, or mainly we do it ourselves and say, well, we don't need any help, we'll figure it out. And people are really helpful at borders most of the time. I'm not thinking we didn't have a single bad experience at a border, I guess.
No.
Sometimes it take the Pakistan-India border took 6 hours, I guess, because we needed to empty the car, but all really very friendly. And if you just follow the rules and just listen to the guards and just do what you ask,
take your time.
And take your time. Don't get frustrated, because then it's going to be a long day, and that it can be tough sometimes if you just have to wait in the blazing sun for 6 hours. But the people are just doing their job and not very efficient all the time, but normally we just say, just wait and smile and be friendly.
And how did you handle the language barrier at these borders if you didn't know the local language?
Google Translate is our biggest friend.
Okay.
For sure. And yeah, sometimes, like if you're crossing a border in Kyrgyzstan or Uzbekistan or Iran, the procedure is mainly the same. So yeah, with like hand signs, they show you what they want, and some speak a little bit of English. We don't speak any Russian, so that's a bit tough in Central Asia. But yeah, Google Translate and hand signs, you will get there.
Okay.
Any specific safety planning you do or tips you can provide our listeners on safety and security?
Yeah, as I said before, it's tough because we only see like the Western media, so then you don't know if you want to go there. So we always try to, if we decide to go to a country, we first check the travel advice of our government. If it's like good, then we'll think, well, then we probably will be okay. And if it's like a negative advice, so don't travel there, then we start researching local media. We're trying to connect through Facebook or Instagram with other travelers who've been there or planning to go there, and then just make up our minds. And when we are in the country or the country next to it, we talk to the locals. What would you do? Have you ever been there? Is it safe now? What have you heard? And then day by day, we made a decision if we want to go there or not.
And how do you manage changing currency as you travel into and out of different countries?
Currency, yeah. I think most of the time we just go to the ATM. At almost every border crossing, there's an ATM nearby. And we always have dollars and euros as a backup. So you can always go to the money exchanger and get the local currency. So yeah, it's quite straightforward.
How are you handling auto and health insurance?
Health insurance, we just have it in the Netherlands. It's mandatory, so we cannot stop paying our health insurance fee. And we have a travel insurance policy.
Who did you get the travel insurance policy from?
From the company in the Netherlands. I'm not sure what the name is. In the Netherlands, it's quite a big one. It's the only one who covers like worldwide coverage, even in the more risky areas. They don't mind.
Cool.
Let's dive deeper on finances. One of the most common questions asked is, how can you afford to do what you're doing? Or I'm sure you've gotten the famous, you must have won the lottery or be rich.
Yeah, or Insta famous or something like that.
Obviously, the real question is, how can they do what you're doing? How can our listeners mimic what you've done? What would be your number one tip on funding a trip like yours?
Like when we decided we definitely wanted to go on a trip, we started to save some money. So like all the extra things like shopping, going out, we didn't do that at all actually, or less, definitely less.
And we are from the Netherlands, so we like saving money and not spending money. So that's quite easy for us. But yeah, we just said, okay, how much money do we need? And we already had some money saved up, so we just started saving. And then when we decided not to buy the house, we got some extra money and start saving again until we had the goal reached, and then we were ready to go.
Yeah.
And now we're spending like way less money than we did in Amsterdam. I think maybe a quarter or something, even more than we spend it in our normal life.
And we always we made a financial plan before we left, like Michel explained, but we also, during our trip, we write down all our expenses. Now it's a bit of an addiction. So every cup of tea, everything we buy, we keep it in an app and track our daily expenses. And then once a month, we update it with the financial plan, and then we know where we stand. So we're quite, strict about it. Yeah.
Is there an average amount that you found monthly?
It depends on the country. For example, Iran,
it's very, very cheap.
We only spent like 400 euros over a month because it's
super cheap,
really cheap there. But on average, I guess we're normally try to reach like 50 euros a day max.
But that's including everything, or like our phone bills, or insurance, fuel, just everything.
Diesel,
yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for going through those details. Super helpful. Let's go through navigation and communication. What are you using for navigation? Either, I don't know if it's an app, paper, maps, or GPS.
Yeah, we use the apps like Maps.me and Osmond and Google, and we just combine the three of the apps. We also buy a SIM card in every country. So with a data package, and
sometimes you buy a local map of the country and all the roads.
Yeah,
it's quite nice planning.
Yeah.
Okay. And on communications, any tips on getting those SIM cards for your cell phone or anything else that you're doing to make sure you're connected?
Well, it's again in the iOverlander app. Always when you cross the border, 9 out of 10 there is like a SIM card office pinned on iOverlander. So we just go straight there and ask for a SIM card, and then you're connected and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
But normally in all the countries where we have been, Iran is an example, and India was quite difficult to get a working SIM. But in all the other countries, you can just go to a simple phone store and just buy a SIM card, and you're ready to go.
And in some countries, the coverage is not very good, and then we always have our Garmin as backup. So
Yeah, the Garmin in Greece, but that's only for like emergency situations.
And that was the next question. So I guess we got that answered.
Yeah.
You guys happy with being able to, well, actually, this is a little bit different. So for the Garmin InReach, has there ever been a place that you've been that you were not able to connect with it?
No.
Always.
We always connect with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Only if you're inside, then it's sometimes not possible. Then it states that you have to go outside to get a connection with a satellite.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, cool. Let's go through some onboard necessities real quick. How much fuel can you carry? How far does that take you? And how are you calculating your fuel needs?
We can carry 260 liters of diesel, and it will take us more or less 1,500 kilometers. And we know on a full tank we drive somewhere around 500 or 600 kilometers. So we know how far we can get.
Okay. And how much water can you carry? And can you give us any more insights on filtering? So the filter that you originally started with, and then the filter you use now, any other thoughts there?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what the original filter was. It was like a really big, some kind of concrete system, it looked like. And using that filter, because we have a 100-liter water tank, you can drink like almost every water after that. And now we're just having like a really basic filter, which only takes out like the big dirty stuff, not like the really micro bacteria kind of things. So it's not really safe for drinking water. So that's quite different. But 100-liter water is it's quite a lot. So next time we would definitely want to use it for drinking as well. And maybe we change it now.
And then remind me the size of your solar panels that you use.
We have 2 of 85 watts, I believe, and it's on the roof. And for us, it's enough. If it's like, especially in the mountains and the last 8-9 months, even if we camped somewhere for several days, we never run out of electricity.
And any other tips on either battery size or battery type that you're using that you're happy with?
We have two batteries of, I guess, 100 amperes. And as I said, for us that's enough. But we don't have like really big electricity consuming stuff in the car. We have a refrigerator, which consumes the most, I guess.
Yeah, but again, if it's sunny, it doesn't even use the batteries. It all goes on the sun. So for us it's enough. Cool.
Yeah, but we met overlanders who have like 5, 6, 7 big, way bigger batteries than ours. But
depending how luxury you have the car,
Yeah.
And what refrigerator are you using, and any tips on selecting a refrigerator?
Well, we have a Wyco, it's called. It's a 40 liters, not that big.
Okay.
But yeah, as I said, we don't cook that often. So for us, it's like for some cold drinks, a beer sometimes, and some fresh food. But I think you need to consider the size. If you need a bigger one, definitely go for one. And I think for us, it's important that it's quite economical. So not that that it doesn't use that much power. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about the bull bar, you talked about the winch. Any other specific recovery gear that you would use or recommend?
We have also bead locks. It's not very common, but it's like a tire within a tire. So you can deflate your outside tire to almost 0 bar. And that's great for if you go off-road in the desert or on the beach. Because, because you can, as I said,
you can drive really, really loose in deep sand.
really loose in deep sand without getting stuck. So for us, that's like, if you love that type of off-roading, it's great. And I think that's the one apart from the winch.
And with sand ladders, high lift jack, like the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Shuffle.
And then probably a good air compressor to bring the tires back up.
Of course, air compressor. Almost forgot. Yeah. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. So road stories are always a favorite. What's a favorite road story of yours, or maybe a situation you were nervous going into, and how did it turn out for you?
I think it was when we just left. I think in the first few months when we were traveling in Albania, we got stuck in the mountains because the weather instantly became very rainy and muddy, and the road was very, very bad. There were a lot of landslides, and we're quite panicking. And then a group of local villagers saw us and picked us up, and they said we couldn't go any further. So they let us stay for 2 days with their grandmother in a very small village. And in first instance, we're a bit hesitant because we know the Albanians don't have the best reputation, at least in the Netherlands. But this was for us the first real eye-opener about how friendly and helpful the people are in Albania, but also around the world. So, for us it was like...
They treated us like family, and we never met them. And they just saw us like in total panic on the side of a really small mountain road. And
very dangerous.
We didn't dare to drive anymore. And they just picked up, even one of the guys got in the car and just coached us through the dangerous mountain roads. And he said, well, we're going to my grandmother, and when we came there, she cooked us dinner, breakfast, lunch, and
made her bed.
Unbelievable. And that
was wild. That must have been quite an experience.
Really, really nice. So, and we just left home. So, and after that, we had like a million of those stories in Iran, people who took us in and
Nepal,
slept on the floor so we could sleep in their bed, cooked us dinner, and just being friendly, being people. And that's we that's the one thing we love of traveling. And especially to come back at your question, why risk it? To meet those people, those friendly people. And if we just see the news, they are like all really hostile and really dangerous. But we slept in their bed, we ate their food, we met their family, and we met their friends. So that's amazing.
That's cool. So for you guys, any helping others, doing good philanthropy that you either do and focus on during your trip, or opportunities that you've seen that maybe our listeners should take a look into?
I don't think we do like particular like volunteer work or anything, but we learned that it's very important to always help people. And like it's a saying in the Quran, I think, that you treat strangers as your friends. So we always keep that in mind, that don't be very reluctant to want to help people, and just have confidence in humans, actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this has been a lot of fun. Anything that we've missed?
No,
I
don't think so.
Nailed it.
Yeah, for sure.
Lisa's got a question.
I do. And only because I didn't read a whole lot this morning because I was still waking up. What is your destination point? Where are you guys headed?
Well, we don't know.
Boom. There you go.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, well,
We first, when we started, we wanted to travel to Mongolia, and we had all these ideas, but sometimes you cannot plan everything. So since a few months, we have a third traveler with us because we're expecting a little baby. So that shows how unexpected life can be. So we don't know at all. No. We'll just see. We'll see.
Well, congratulations. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's wrap it up with some fun facts about you. What keeps your co-driver occupied on long drives?
Navigating,
Singing,
dancing, talking to each other. We quite chatty in the car.
Yeah.
So yeah, mainly that.
Finally, a singer.
Yeah.
The first. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you pair that with any musical instruments on the road around the campfire?
No.
Singing again.
Just singing. That's awesome. That's great.
What's your favorite drink in the morning to get you going?
For me, coffee.
And tea, yeah.
Coffee and tea. So any regions that you've been to that you found that are like a favorite to get either coffee or tea?
Well, in India, you have the masala chai, the
yeah.
local Indian tea. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
could drink it all day. And the coffee in Albania was really nice. Tea in Turkey, of course.
Yeah.
Tea in Iran.
Albania has amazing coffee.
Yeah, Albania, but in Turkey as well.
Yeah, Turkish coffee.
Yeah.
And what's a favorite beverage at night to wind down after a long day on the road?
Well, it depends. Sometimes a tea is really nice, especially when it's getting cold. But a beer, I like a beer once in a while. But that's kind of tough in some countries, of course, like Iran, Pakistan. You cannot buy any beer, or it's hard to buy beer. And then we don't miss it. Then we just love a tea or a coffee or whatsoever. But yeah, now when the sun is nice and it's like a beach day, then I could go for a beer. Well, I'm actually gonna go for a beer in a while.
Yeah, it's that time of day.
Yeah.
What is your best advice to aspiring overlanders like us?
I think our advice would be don't think too much, but just do it. Because if you're back home and you're in your working bubble, you see a lot of problems and I can't do this. But if you just start, then everything it's just quite easy. Just go with the flow.
And we meet people in really big, really expensive trucks with all things you can imagine. But we also see people in 40-year-old Volkswagens and just start driving and are a bit amazed that they already that far. And it doesn't have to be really expensive or.
No, you just have to do it on your own way. Yeah.
Awesome. So how can people learn more about you guys? What's a good way to keep up with you, whether you have a website, social media? How can people connect with you?
I think we mostly use our Instagram account, Overlanding the World, and also our Facebook account.
Yeah.
And that's the one, the most important way how we stay in contact with people. Yeah.
Great. So any more information you'd like to give or useful resources that our listeners should check out?
Well, not really. Yeah, I mentioned before, Overlander, that's our Bible. We use it on a daily basis. And it's and I didn't know before I left because I learned on the road. But if you are planning, you can read a lot of information on borders, on currency exchange, etc., etc.
Supermarkets, everything.
Yeah. So that's if you are planning or if you are on the road. Probably if you are already on the road, you know about this app. But if you are planning, have a look at it.
So Overlander, and then it sounds like a big one is just communicating with the locals.
Yes.
Yes,
for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. We are humbled that you've given us such an amazing look into your world, experiences and knowledge. Safe travels and adventures to you, and we hope to catch up with you again in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great evening, and I hope you enjoy that beer.
Oh, I definitely will.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Second time a guest has announced a little bundle of joy is on the way.
Overlanding is good for fertility?
Yep.
Apparently, maybe it is. Michel and Renee, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to share your stories, experiences, and knowledge with all of us. We are humbled you gave us so much of your time. Be sure to give Michel and Renee a follow at Overlanding the World. That is at overlanding_the_world. Thank you all for listening. We are so very grateful for you and humbled you take the time to listen each week.
For good overlanding karma, kindly subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your podcast platform of choice, giving the GHT Overland podcast a little extra love. You can visit the show notes page on our website at ghteverland.com/podcasts. Select the Overlanding the World episode. All the details and helpful links are already there for you.
A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Your support of the podcast truly does mean the world to us. If you would like to help support the show and possibly get a t-shirt and or a coffee mug that doubles as a GNT mug at night, take a look at the options while you're there. If you'd like, you can send your questions, suggestions, and feedback to ghteoverlandpodcast@gmail.com.
GHT is showing gratitude, being humble, and having the tenacity to tackle your dreams. Thank you, and we will see you next Thursday for a brand new episode of the GHT Overland podcast. Bye.
Saw her in the woods, yeah. Fire was cracking, she was covered in tats and saw me. Was only 19 and she was well into her 20s. She had seen much more than I had seen.